confirmed. So he is going to have surgery today.
So what is David was talking about the timeline, him being ready hopefully for opening day, but what is the actual timeline in terms of getting back to ramping up baseball activities after a surgery like this?
Yeah, it varies. People are saying 6 weeks for return of play. Knowing Lindor, I'm not gonna bet against him. This is a guy that's played through broken toes and the low back. 2 years ago when he could barely walk, and he continued to play through it. So we're still optimistic that he's going to be available for us in opening day, but we just gotta wait and see.
I think a lot of people say with injuries like this, it's maybe less about when he can physically get on the field and more about when he's Francisco Lindor again. Is that, or to what extent is that a concern in your mind, that even if he can make it back, maybe it takes some time for him to become the player we know again?
Yeah, look, every player is different, but knowing the person, knowing the player and the athlete, I'm pretty comfortable saying that he's gonna be ready to go. Is he gonna take time? We don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's. The good thing is that we're going to be able to do a lot of different things, in keeping him in shape. Whether it's the throwing, we're going to keep the arm moving, we're going to keep with the running progression and things like that once we get the stitches out, obviously. But like I said, every athlete, everybody's different, and I'm counting on him.
Do you know when in that 6-week timetable he could restart most baseball activities, hit, through those types of things?
That I don't know. I know it's probably 10 days before they get the stitches out, and then we'll start that progression. So,
just what's your plan for a rotation at shortstop at spring training with him absent, and which of those guys would be in position to be the shortstop on opening day if Lindor isn't ready?
Yeah, they're the guys that we got in camp are gonna get the majority of playing time, whether it's Kessingers of the Cliff and Brujan and Mauricio, guys that we got in camp. Those guys are the ones that are gonna get the reps early on, and then as we continue to get information, we'll make some adjustment if we need to. But on the early going, those are some of the guys that will get the playing time there.
And what do you make of today? Jackson Holiday and Corbin Carroll both had hammocks, and what do you make of all these kind of
baseball? I guess it's back to baseball season. And freaky injury happened. This is a pretty common one. It's just rare that in the span of 24 hours we got 3 really good players going down with the same injury. But I don't know, make too much out of it.
Carlos, sometimes with this type of injury, the power aspect of a player's game is a little bit slower to come back. How equipped is your lineup for that, if that's indeed ends up being the case with Francisco here?
Yeah, we feel good with the guys that we got, on our roster. And again, we'll see how that roster is going to look when we break camp. But feel comfortable, but also optimistic that Lindor is going to be, that same player as well. It's not going to be the first time. There's cases where the power has been a topic, but there's also been cases where guys have that type of surgery and it doesn't affect them at all. So, like I said, everyone is different, and I'm going to continue to thank my guy.
Just with so many new faces in the infield and some of them playing out of position, how do you intend to build cohesion with that unit with Lindor gone for so long?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about out of position. Bichette, will be the one getting reps at new position, and Polanco at first, right? I think the one thing you'll miss early on is the combination of Marcus Semien as a new second baseman, missing Lindor as a shortstop. But again, the one thing we'll try and do, and I know Lindor will going to try and do it, is be out there for team defenses as much as possible, have conversations with Marcus after games, so that way we can, create that type of relationship there. But that's kind of like the way I see it, more of those two early on.
But with an injury like that, is he able to start fielding first or hitting first, or does it all just come together? Yeah,
the fielding is going to be, we got to wait until the stitches and all that. But the arm, the good thing is not the throwing arm. So the fielding portion is the one that is going to take probably a little bit of time because of the impact there on the hand.
Just, Carlos, at what point did you kind of become aware of this? Is this something you kind of knew about in previous years or anything that he was playing through? Or
And I think the only time that he feels 100% is day one of spring training since I've been here. After that, he's always, and that's who he is, right? So he mentioned it the past couple of years, but he came and went, right? But we found out a couple of days ago, and then for him to be saying something like that this early was kind of concerning to a point where we took the step that we did.
With Mauricio getting reps at shortstop, he hasn't done a whole lot of that since the knee injury. How much could that impact him, or would it impact him?
Well, the good thing is he finally fully healthy. For the past couple of years, he's not on a running progression. He's not on doing backfield activity. He's a full player for us. He play a lot of winning ball, and yeah, he's one of those where he hasn't played there much, and we're going to have to get him ready. But he's so used to, he came up as a shortstop. It's not something that you'll forget. As long as he's healthy, which he is, I don't think that's going to be an issue.
Carlos, 2 years ago when you started, you talked about spring training, having to get up to speed with everybody, to know all the players, to know all the coaches. You have all new coaches again now. You have a lot of new players, and some playing in different spots. How hard is that to go through that again, just a couple years later, or what kind of challenge is that to get through?
It's part of what we do, every year. Yes, this is different, obviously, with a lot of new faces from the player side and from the coaching side of things, but it's going to be a priority of ours, building the relationships, earning the trust. There's going to be a lot of communication, and not until we start playing games, whether it's the language in the dugout with the new coaches, the signs with the base coaches, and then some of the new faces, whether they're position players, whether they're playing different positions, whether, the relievers. It's going to take some time, but again, I'm confident and comfortable with the guys that we brought in here, and it's something that we're used to pretty much.
Is it compounded at all by the fact what you're trying to get past from last year, just because last year was such a disappointing finish? Does that weigh on you at all, in addition to trying to make all these changes, or have you been able to just kind of flush that? And
yeah, I mean, look, I was able to flush it, because we got to work very quickly after we got done. And then you start thinking about this day, day one of spring training, pitchers and catchers, and then you look forward for the full squad gets here. But you just got to move on. You learn from it, and now we got a great opportunity in front of us.
Carlos, at the Bichette press conference, you were saying you were playing around with potential top of the lineup configurations. Have you settled on anything 1 through 4, and does Lindor's injury impact any of it?
Yeah, I mean, I've been getting the question about the top 3 and top 4. Lindor is down now, but I'm still leaning that way. If Lindor's healthy and ready to go, he's probably going to be Lindor, Soto, Bichette. And then maybe, yeah, I got good choices there. I can play around with lefty, righty, lefty if we need to. Load up lefties, load up righties. But yeah, feel good with the options that we got here.
Is there any world in which you would give Bichette shortstop reps?
As of right now, that's not on the table. But again, this is a guy that's played shortstop. So if we got to get to that point, that transition is not going to be as hard, So right now, we have to make sure we get him comfortable at third base, and that's where he's going to be getting his work defensively.
And totally different topic. I think you were out there watching Kimbrel throw his side earlier. I know it's a side session. It's February 10th or whatever. But what did you like, and just more generally speaking, what do you think?
Yeah, the changeup. I think that's a pitch that he started throwing last year, because I was like, where that came from, So it was encouraging. So he just, again, we like what we saw towards the end of last year. That there's a reason why he's here. That brings a lot of experience. But watching him today, especially like I said, with that changeup, was pretty encouraging.
Carlos, what are your expectations for Senga this spring, and what would it mean for you guys if he can stay healthy and pitch at a high level?
He needs to be healthy. When he's healthy, we know the type of pitcher he can be. People saw it here in 2023 we saw it for the first 2.5 months last year, how effective he was. And then he got hurt and he wasn't able to be himself again. So my biggest expectations here is we need this guy healthy. If he's healthy, he's going to help us.